in peril. A few minutes later, while the alert middle-aged man was tasting the angel kiss, Jules sat in conclave with Miss Spencer, who had charge of the bureau of the Grand Babylon. This bureau was a fairly large chamber, with 2 sliding glass partitions which overlooked the entrance hall and the smoking room. Only a small portion of the clerical work of the great hotel was performed there. The place served chiefly as the lair of Miss Spencer, who was as well known and as important as Jules himself. Most modern hotels have a male clerk to superintend the bureau, but the Grand Babylon went its own way. Miss Spencer had been bureau clerk almost since the Grand Babylon had first raised its massive chimneys to heaven, and she remained in her place despite the vagaries of other hotels. Always admirably dressed in plain black silk, with a small diamond brooch, immaculate wristbands, and frizzed yellow hair, she looked now just as she had looked an indefinite number of years ago. Her age? None knew it, save herself and perhaps one other, and none cared. The gracious and alluring contours of her figure were irreproachable, and in the evenings she was a useful ornament of which any hotel might be innocently proud. Her knowledge of Bradshaw, of steamship services, and the programs of theaters and music halls was unrivaled. Yet she never traveled. She never went to a theater or a music hall. She seemed to spend the whole of her life in that official lair of hers, imparting information to guests, telephoning to the various departments, or engaged in intimate conversations with her special friends on the staff, as at present. "Who's number 107?" Jules asked this black-robed lady. Miss Spencer examined her ledgers. "Mr. Theodore Wraxall, New York." "I thought he must be a New Yorker," said Jules after a brief, significant pause. "But he talks as good English as you or me. Says he wants an angel kiss, maraschino and cream, if you please, every night." "I'll see he doesn't stop here too long." Miss Spencer smiled grimly in response. The notion of referring to Theodore Wraxall as a New Yorker appealed to her sense of humor, a sense in which she was not entirely deficient. She knew, of course, and she knew that Jules knew, that this Theodore Wraxall must be the unique and only Theodore Wraxall, the 3rd richest man in the United States, and therefore probably in the world. Nevertheless, she ranged herself at once on the side of Jules. Just as there was only one Wraxall, so there was only one Jules, and Miss Spencer instinctively shared the latter's indignation at the spectacle of any person whatsoever, millionaire or emperor, presuming to demand an angel kiss, that unrespectable concoction of maraschino and cream, within the precincts of the Grand Babylon. In the world of hotels, it was currently stated that, next to the proprietor, there were 3 gods at the Grand Babylon: Jules, the head waiter, Miss Spencer, and most powerful of all, Rocco, the renowned chef, who earned $2,000 a year and had a chalet on the Lake of Lucerne. All the great hotels in Northumberland Avenue and on the Thames Embankment had tried to get Rocco away from the Grand Babylon, but without success. Rocco was well aware that even he could rise no higher than the maître d'hôtel of the Grand Babylon, which, though it never advertised itself and didn't belong to a limited company, stood an easy first among the hotels of Europe. First in expensiveness, first in exclusiveness, first in that mysterious quality known as style. Situated on the embankment, the Grand Babylon, despite its noble proportions, was somewhat dwarfed by several colossal neighbors. It had but 350 rooms, whereas there are 2 hotels within a quarter of a mile, with 600 and 400 rooms, respectively. On the other hand, the Grand Babylon was the only hotel in London with a genuine separate entrance for royal visitors constantly in use. The Grand Babylon counted that day wasted on which it did not entertain, at the lowest, a German prince or the Maharaj of some Indian state. When Felix Babylon, after whom, and not with any reference to London's nickname, the hotel was christened, when Felix Babylon founded the hotel in 1869, he had set himself to cater for royalty, and that was the secret of his.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.